Good morning, it's Bridget. So I have to show you, I have this Nespresso coffee pot maker thing with these fancy pods. Look, my husband chose one for me. He ordered some of my coffee and he chose one that is like a lavender purple. It's hard to see this, but it's lilac, lavender purple. Oh, it's so nice. It's a medium roast coffee. So I thought it would go good today with my Hope mug, which is part of my merch. And as I worked really hard yesterday related to this one, like all day long, I posted about this. And I literally I sat at the computer from like 8 o'clock until 1, and then I got up and realized I hadn't eaten, I hadn't taken a break. I mean, it was crazy. You lose track of time. I get into that zone, and then I got back in and worked again until almost 4 o'clock. So it's crazy. So working on some stuff related to this guy. And you can find that on AboveLifeCHannel on YouTube too. I'm going to share a post about some purple magic I'm offering as a service. You guys are going to love it. So let's make coffee. Green button says go. Oh yeah. Now, Prince wasn't a big coffee fan. From what I know, from what he tells me. It's so funny because he's like, you can drink coffee? You don't need that. Do you really need a coffee? And I'm like, yeah. How do you think this magic happens, huh? Cafe latte. So it's Thursday when I'm recording this, and it's my son's birthday. It's one of my kiddos' birthdays. I have now a 17-year-old. So now my kids are like old, which doesn't make me old, by the way. I have a 17-year-old today, an 18-year-old, a 20-year-old, and an 11-year-old that will soon be 12. Wow. Life happens, It sure does. Time flies, doesn't it? It's been 5 years since Prince transitioned, since Prince left and moved into the afterlife. Whether you were a fan or Prince admirer in your current life, like during his lifetime, or whether you discovered his energy because of his afterlife essence, no matter. Let me just tell you, the people who've discovered him since his passing have a bit of an easier time. I think they have a bit of an easier time connecting with him as a spirit with his purpose in the afterlife, because it's hard to differentiate the human from the spirit sometimes. What you expect of them in the afterlife is not how they show up based on your human perceptions, because human perceptions are so limiting. We know that. You and I both know that. We got brains, minds that help us understand all sorts of things, or think we know all sorts of things, but the people that weren't so focused on his human life, I think, might have an easier time of really collaborating with him for healing and for inspiration in the afterlife, because his spirit is so, I don't want to say ascended isn't the right word, but it's so funny to describe. He's not down to earth as a spirit, but he's like matter of fact. And he's very, I don't know, charming is the right word. I mean, these are human traits, but it's hard to describe what the spirit energy of him is. He's definitely, I feel like when I communicate with him and talk to him from a higher ascended perspective, and by higher I just mean a view of almost being a spirit guide instead of ever being a person, like that, just from the spirit side of things, he really provides amazing insight. And his energy is so supportive because it seems like he can bring in this energy of, playfulness, charm, understanding, humor from this, that inspires the spirit and allows for playfulness, but also he understands the mind and the need for productivity and the drive. But you got to understand that his energies were very mixed in his human life. Like, from when I feel him, he almost feels like this, not bipolar, not at all. Like, I don't want to be, oh boy, Bridget, you're going to get nailed for that one probably, but he feels like he has high highs and like deep, intense productivity, and then times of just massive rest. And it almost feels like creativity bipolarism or something. And I don't mean to speak about bipolar, like it's just no big deal because I know it's a very serious mental health thing, but that's the best way I could describe the feeling of him and his energy as a person, like big bursts of energy and then total downtime, big bursts of energy and total downtime, and everything was play in between, you know, in between the mega resting and the go, 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 there was just this play energy, but there was a seriousness to the play that kind of brings in the balance of the human and the spirit. I don't know if I'm talking in circles here, but he just has a very different, there's lots of different ways you can connect and work with his energy. And I think sometimes people have this perception that if they weren't in the fandom in the human life, that they really have no business communicating or connecting with them, but that's not true at all. That's not at all true. At all. Not at all true. If that were the case, then you can't talk to any archangels or even Jesus because, you know, you didn't know them in the human life. I mean, really? See how silly that is? See how silly that is? So, all right, deep stuff for this coffee morning. Oh my goodness, let's try the coffee here, this lavender coffee. Oh yes. Yes. Yes, very good. Yes. Good way to start the day. Cheers. And my friend, I'm going to spend some time with my kid for his birthday. So we might share some stuff about you today. We might share our Purple Magic offers because we have like 3 levels of offers we're going to do to help support people during this 5-year milestone marker. So we might share that today. I'm not sure. Gotta really feel like the right time, you know, for the signups and stuff. So this is Bridget. I used to be known as Bridget, psychic medium, intuitive coach, and for some, the purple medium. That's how some people knew me from my work with Prince in the afterlife. You can find me on AboveLifeChannel on YouTube, here on Fairy Grasshopper Channel on YouTube, on Instagram and Facebook at Bridget Inspired. Maybe I'll share this on Facebook. That might be a good way to start the morning. A little hope in your cup. This feels so nice and warm. It's kind of windy out today and it feels a little bit damp after all of our rain and craziness yesterday. Yesterday, it was like the 9th of March and we had 2 tornado warnings in the evening. I'm like, what? Isn't that crazy? Just craziness. You know, March, in like a lion, I guess. Out like a lamb. We'll see. We'll see. All right. I hope you guys have a great day. I look forward to connecting with you again very soon.